Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive talking nerd, John Norgrove, and this is Nerd Jive. Today's a little different. We got a little bit of nerd news, a little bit of real life news, but that affects you if you, well, it affects you. So, decided to get a little bit of extra news in there. So first up is the new Justice League trailer. I kind of wanted to go over that. It's the topic that everybody's talking about, so why the hell not do it? Okay, so full honesty, I hated Man of Steel. Just absolute garbage movie, beginning, middle, end. Everything was garbage. The only redeeming factor of that movie were the scenes on Krypton because they were beautiful. So I hated Man of Steel. Bats and Soups, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, or whatever the hell they were calling it. Bats and Soups was a garbage movie. But there were redeeming qualities to it. I mean, mostly it was just Jeremy Irons as Alfred were the redeeming qualities. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he does a good job when he's not being like a mopey lame ass and like, oh, why doesn't anybody love my pet projects? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, because people are understanding the fact that you're the fucking Batman. That's a pretty big deal, but whatever. So I'm not really going into this with like a lot of heat. I know a lot of people are like, it's Bats and Soups, it's the best. You know, it's Justice League. But if you want a good Justice League movie, watch one of the animated ones. Justice League Dark, great movie. Justice League Gods and Monsters, great movie. I've said these things before. The live action DCU is just shit. Complete and inadequate shit. Anyway, let's get to the trailer breakdown. So, first up, and I said this over the weekend, and it kind of clicked in my head as I was saying it over the weekend. All right, so they're trying too hard to be like dark and gritty, but what they're actually succeeding at doing is just shooting the scenes in the darkness, right? So that's not dark and gritty, that's just actually dark. You know, like the lights are out, or you're underground, or it's nighttime. Like, I don't honestly believe that the DCU understands that daylight fucking exists. That's how dark these bloody episodes are, or these movies are. So, like, that's the first thing that they're getting wrong. It's just, like, light shit properly. Try harder. What are you guys doing? So that was the first thing that hit me this weekend when I saw it the second or third time. And I was just like, oh, they're trying to be dark and gritty, but they don't understand that dark doesn't actually mean like a dark room, and gritty doesn't actually mean full of grit like dirt. Like, I feel like maybe they're confused about what dark and gritty means, which is, like, I guess impressive to some extent that you can be that stupid. But yeah, don't be dark and gritty. Be better. Whatever. All right. So I just wanted to go through the heroes or stars, whatever the hell you want to call them, real quick. So Aquaman. I love Jason Momoa. He looks so badass. Oh my god. His costume is great. His one-liners and quips are funny. You know what? He looks like he's gonna be like the most badass person in it. That last scene where he's riding on the Batmobile and he like jumps off and like takes out some parademons. That's like a little OP, I feel, for Aquaman, but I don't care. I love it. I love his costume. Looks great. I love everything about it. Screw blonde hair, blue eyes, comic book Aquaman. Jason Momoa is perfect. So absolutely love it. Love Aquaman. Cyborg. I love the character Cyborg from the cartoons, from the animated series, from the comic books. I hate Cyborg in this trailer. The CGI looks like garbage. He's not even bulky, like he's a fucking robot. Cyborg in all iterations has been like, not fat, that's not what I mean, but like bulky. He looks like a strong dude. And this Cyborg's all like weird rail skinny, and there's too much CGI. He looks like a cheap-ass Iron Man. And speaking of Iron Man, in a world where we've had Iron Man in like 5 goddamn movies, how can the CGI of a robot person look so shitty? What the hell? hell, DC, Warner Brothers, get your shit together, man. It looks awful. Just awful. The way he looks, the way the CGI is done, the weird, emaciated, bloody cyborg thing that's happening. It all looks like garbage. Cyborgs looks like shit. Not excited about it. The Flash. I like the Flash's costume. It's like weird armory. I mean, it looks like the costume from the video game Injustice. It looks like the Injustice costume for the Flash, which I'm kind of like, it's stupid, but all right, like it's a cool costume, so I'm okay with it. My only concern with the Flash is, one, why didn't you use the Barry Allen from the TV series, because he's the perfect Flash, and this new guy looks like he's, I don't know. I don't like his face. I'm probably biased because I love the TV series, so I think that's what it is. But I don't like the new guy that's playing the Flash. But I like his costume, and I'm gonna give him hope. Like, I love the Flash as a character, so I am definitely gonna, stay my disdain for him. My only concern is, why is every time he uses the Flash power, there's like weird lightning all the time? Like, I get it, he's super fast, there's lightning and stuff, it's crazy, but like, I feel like it's overused. In every scene, it's like, oh, the Flash is going super fast, there's like lightning and like electronic things are bursting and stuff like that. I feel like that would just be a hazard. You'd be like, oh, the Flash saved me, but like my cell phone doesn't work anymore and my car doesn't start and that guy's computer blew up. Flash is kind of useless. Like, yeah, he stopped that criminal, but he caused several $1,000s worth of electrical damage because he's a weird lightning man. Tone the lightning down. I get that it's that like Michael Bay explosion, Zack Snyder just like garbage way of doing things, but tone the lightning down. It looks like shit. Batman looks great. I still like Ben Affleck as Batman, even after his okay performance with Bats and Soups and his weird temper tantrum thing that's happening in the real world right now. I can't say that, but like, he looks good. His gadgets look awesome. That weird vehicle he has, oh my god, that like bat spider walking bat mobile thing in the tunnel looks amazing. Like, I'm super excited about that. I thought it was awesome. It's so cool looking. It's just, I love his gadgets. I love his stuff. I hope Jeremy Irons comes back as Alfred. I think it's great. Just, I'm super excited. I hope Batman does good. I hope the standalone Batman does good. I'm a fan. I love it. We don't get to see Superman. I hope they do the like black costume, mullet, evil Superman thing because he's come back from the dead. Like, they're not going to do that because nobody loves us. But I hope that's what they do. It's going to be sweet. Let's do it. Make it happen. Wonder Woman, I'm still not sold on her. Like, I've said this before. She looks too wafy. I don't like her performance. I don't think she's a good actress. Like, I understand that, like, she's a super hot model and, like, she's kind of ethnic looking, maybe, or whatever the hell Hollywood was trying to do with that. But I don't like her. I don't like her one bit. I'm going to see Wonder Woman. I'm going to see Justice League. These are all negligible things. But still, I don't like her as Wonder Woman. Whatever. Like, I like the jokes that were made. I like the costumes. Batman CGI, the CGI on his Batmobiles and like his Batcopters and his weird Bat machines. His non-CGI Bat Horse, which is, I swear to God, if they don't use the term Bat Horse for the horse that he rides at the beginning of that, I'm gonna be fucking furious. But, like the Bat Horse, it all looked good. This trailer comes off as tryhardy. Like, it's like, they're like, listen, we can make jokes too. We can use, like, cool, memorable 80s and 70s music. And it looks like they're trying to be Marvel too much, and they have the potential to be better than Marvel. I mean, Marvel has the potential to be better than Marvel, but they have the potential to be better than Marvel, and they're just not doing it. And it's kind of shit. Like, don't be such a tryhard. Either way, I look forward to seeing the movie. I'm going to see it opening night. I'll probably see it premiere on Thursday. But still, I'm not going into this, cocked and ready to rock. I don't think it's going to be good as a lot of other superhero movies that are coming out this year, or next year, whenever the hell this movie comes out. But I I don't know. I'm still undecided about whether or not it's going to be good. I'm gonna have to hold out. I'm afraid that what they're gonna do is continually release these trailers that give no actual plot development, but show a bunch of kick-ass action scenes, and then when we watch the movie, the only cool action scenes are the ones that were shown in the trailer, and it's gonna be one of those kind of fiascos. So hopefully Warner Brothers gets their head out of their asses, and DC gets their head out of their asses, and fucking gets their shit together. Half their characters look dope and are dope, and the other half kind of look like shit. So we'll see, you know, where the dice fall when that happens. But either way, done with the Justice League trailer rant. I'm just gonna real quick fire through. I got a bunch of short little pieces of news. So these British scientists have developed artificial blood. It's really cool. So we've had the tech to make artificial blood, or red blood cells, out of stem cells for some time, but it's very slow and it's not very efficient. And what these guys have done is these British scientists have developed this new method for using immortal premature blood cells. So essentially, they make these like halfway there red blood cells that are essentially timeless. So you can make all of them like, you know, back at your primary facility and then just dope them to get your finished typed blood. We're nowhere close to it being like ready for production rollout style. But this could definitely bring us to a point where when you go to a hospital, you first get, or if you have a rare blood type, you get artificial blood cells until your body's able to replenish itself. And it's just going to help the medical community. I donate blood. You know, I think it's a great system, but we're always in need of blood, and I think that this is gonna relieve pressure, which is what we need. So super awesome. Linked below is a BBC article. It's very informative. It's linked below. Check it out. Next up, StarCraft is getting a 4K UHD remastering. The first StarCraft, you heard that right, fucking StarCraft. That's like the best game ever made. I love StarCraft. It's full HD remastering. There's a YouTube video of it linked below. It's amazing. Oh my god, it looks so good. The video's real, like, it's amazing. But when they show like what it used to look like blow it up full screen on your TV and watch it. Shows what it used to look like, shows what it's gonna look like now. It looks fantastic. I cannot wait for this to come out. It's coming out this summer. I'm 100% gonna get it. It looks amazing, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be awesome. Next up is Smog news, which is very interesting. I know, it's the coolest thing ever, right? Smog news. I found this fascinating. So California standards of emissions for 2020 to 2020 from 2022 to 2025 have been finalized. These are totally out of alignment with what the federal government and the current administration are trying to do with standards and emissions. But we're sort of at this place right now where California is able to hold the federal government and automotive makers hostage, kind of, when it comes to these emissions things. Because as an automaker, if you can't make it in California, you're not going to make it in the United States. We're a huge market here in California. And our standards are really strong, and there's a lot of other states that just essentially, what is California doing? That's what we expect. So there's states that are following us. I think it's like 10 or 12 states that are following us. And so we have a lot of buying power. And so automakers have to follow our rules. So it kind of doesn't matter what the federal government does, which is sort of a big deal. The federal government's kind of looking into like what they can do. Can they challenge this? You know, California is very like, we need to up the emission standards and keep it green and all this kind of stuff. And it's the way it's being talked about, the current administration is very like, we need to, I won't go so far as to say protect oil interests, but it's sort of like, we need to make sure that we can still buy oil. We need to kind of make it easier to buy and sell and kind of move those markets and keep those markets in the United States. And I'm sort of two minds with this. Part of me thinks like, yes, we do need to keep it here, because if we're not buying that oil, if we're not doing it, other countries are going to do it. This happened before when Obama said like, we're not gonna buy oil. We're gonna try to stand cleaner, and China was just like, we will buy all of their oil at twice the price. Fuck those guys. And Obama was just like, we were making making jokes. Everybody's got jokes. We were making jokes. I like jokes. Never mind. We're going to keep with it. You know, so we've had issues with that before. Obama's gone through it. Bush has gone through it. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what the federal government does with this. As well as how the people respond to this. Because, like, yes, it's great. We're going to change the emissions and we're going to make it harder for unclean cars to work, which is good for new cars. It's kind of shit for old cars. And I don't mean like 90s old cars, but like, what if you own a classic? Oh, you can't drive your 75 Mustang on the road anymore because it has to meet emission standards that would be utterly impossible for it to meet, kind of thing. Just sort of horse shit. But so you have that, but you also have like, well, this means that there's going to be more hydrogen fuel cell cars or electric cars, which is a good thing. Although there's, if you look into it, there's some stuff about like, oh, an electric car is great and clean and it doesn't generate you know, all this bad stuff. But at the same time, you have lithium-ion batteries are you know, it's the chemicals that in them are dangerous, so they can't be recycled as easily, and the grid power that you're getting is from coal burning plants or something like that. So maybe the energy that's going to your house isn't super clean. So if you're charging your car, is it better than a gas car? I mean, there's a lot of information to decompress in this, and we're getting like a tiny bit of it. We also have, so when Obama was in office, he sort of, at the end of his terms, rushed through this sort of reinterpretation of the federal emission standards and kind of rushed it on the automakers. And what it's being estimated that the changes Obama made to standards and emissions for the federal government will directly affect pricing on brand new cars. Now, this isn't going to sound like much, but it's being estimated that the price of a brand new car will go up by $1,000 by 2025. And that's just an estimate, right? There's no, you know, that's all, you know, number gaming and such. But it's that thing. It's if we keep increasing these standards, that price of a brand new car is going to go up, which means more people are going to be buying used cars, which means that more used cars are going to have to go to junkyards because I could buy a used car and it'll last for a couple of years and then have to meet emission standards that are absurd and I'll never be able to pass. So I got to throw it in the trash and get a new car, which to some people, it's going to get old cars off the road, but at the same time, for lower and middle class people who have to buy used cars, right? How are they going to be able to deal with it? They're going to have to constantly be buying these used cars, and then when you get that used car, when you're done with it, I mean, then you don't take it to a recyclery. You take it to a yard where they either set it there and sell it for parts, pick and pull style, or they crush it and throw it in a landfill or melt it down into scrap iron. Well, that melting down process, that's not all clean, you know. So you're getting all these dangerous chemicals pumped into the atmosphere because of the compression and melting down cycle and stuff like that. So people aren't looking at the whole picture. We're looking at a tiny little scope and forming opinions around it. So just keep your ear to the floor on that one. Pay attention to what your emission standards are. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. And do your research. Learn about it. Figure it out. There's a lot of information out there. And just this article, it's linked below. It's an Engadget article. It's a really good article. And it's very informative. But it left me with more questions than it did answers. And so I was very like, you know, how is this going to affect the guy who can afford a $2,000 used Honda from the mid-90s? Well, is that thing going to be able to pass smog for more than 2 cycles, 3 cycles, and then he has to buy a brand new one? Is it going to pass smog at all under these new standards? I mean, I understand that these standards are in the future. They're standards for 2022. But, you know, that's only, 5 years from now? That's not that far away. And everybody talks about, oh, just take a loan and get a new car. But that's not always a viable and logical option. So you have to weigh the waste of several old cars versus the theoretical emission savings from buying a brand new car, as well as what are they putting into the atmosphere producing these new cars? All these new cars are bloody plastic and plasticized paints and all this, you know, fancy garbage, as opposed to just a metal car. You know, what's going into that, all the chemicals and all that kind of stuff. Those are going to start, you know, when we change the emissions again, your 2003 car is going to have to be crushed and put into the landfill. That's like 80% plastic. What the fuck's that going to do? You can't melt that thing down and just repurpose it as, you know, siding for a shed or something. So, I mean, it's an interesting article and it's an interesting sort of thought adventure in the cost benefit analysis, the ROI of making our emission standards tighter. Like, yes, we need to do that, and we need to make things tighter, and we need to help the world and save the environment and reduce our dependency on oils, but what's the real cost of that? Saying, oh, we're just gonna, we're gonna stop buying oil, we're gonna stop using oil entirely, we're gonna go full green and full electric and all this kind of stuff. I was like, where's your electricity coming from? Is it coming from a coal plant? Well, you're not doing dick. You're just repurposing, putting oil in your car to put in rocks that they explode at the top of a mountain to get, at a factory somewhere else, so it's not your problem, kind of a thing. So it's relative degrees of green is what I want to call it. You need to think about that before you start, before you think you're making an informed decision. And I don't know all the details, but look into it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So the last thing I want to talk about, and this is real short, there's a YouTube video link below. It's 23 seconds long. It's a time lapse of 33 hours. It looks like it's CGI. It is not. This filmmaker, Francis Chi, has filmed and sped up and like actually filmed cell division. This is a video, a real video of frog cells dividing, the egg of a frog dividing and splitting. This is amazing. Absolutely fascinating video. I highly recommend you watch. It's 23 seconds long. You got that much time in your life. He uses these special optics and these special lighting and this like anti-vibration technology, so that way you don't have to worry about it shaking. It's amazing. It looks like it's CGI. It looks like something like out of the Matrix or some stuff, and it's 100% real. I watched this video like 3 times. I told everybody about it at work. It's just mind-boggling to see something like that, and to think that we have the tech to see that, to see cell division, creation, life like that. It's absolutely fascinating. But that's where I wanted to end it. Something absolutely fascinating, quick and short. Watch it below. If you watch it, tell me what you think, man. It blew my mind. I watched it way more times than I should have today. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. But either way, this has already been a fucking long episode. So I've been John Norcrow. This has been Nerd Jive. Stay nerdy, guys.